All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Shey, we have a guest speaker on here. I'm so excited. Ready? Ambassador Diamond, Cheyenne. What? Oh my word! So I'm so excited. I've been waiting for a long time to say that. That was a good little thing. Okay, so we just want to hear, most people know who you are, but we do have some new people on here. So if you don't know who Shey is, will you just tell us a little bit about who you are, how you found this business, a little bit about who your best friend is, all of that good stuff.
Yes, of course. So actually, Morgan doesn't have her life together and I don't. So if that tells you why we're best friends, I charged my computer's on 1% because I was on a Zoom at 6, at 7, at 8, at 9, and I have one more after this. It's the most Zooms I've ever done in a night. So I've got lots to say.
You're so
and I'm just excited.
Promoted.
Yeah, I'm excited to be doing this. I'm excited to be doing it for this team because this team is going ambassador this month. And then I'll get to do a training for y'all's team again and announce her as ambassador. And I'm just really excited. But hey, guys, if y'all don't know who I am, I'm Cheyenne Knox. I'm 21 and I am an ambassador diamond now. This is like the 6th or 7th Zoom now. 5 in one day that I've been able to say that. And it feels so good. But I'm just super excited to do this for each of you because I do have a lot to say. And I learned a lot over the last 30 days that I feel like right now is especially really good for each of you as you're pushing for these promotions. But I joined the business 3.5 years ago just looking for gas money. And I'm sure probably a majority of you can relate. I didn't have a vision for what this business could truly do for me because I didn't think that things like this actually could generate an income that would eventually be my career. I was going to do it the safe way. I was going to go to nursing school. I was going to make $20 an hour and, do it that way because that was anything more than what I grew up as. I grew up in government housing, government funding, any kind of assistance we could be on, we were on it. And I wanted everything else other than that. I wanted more to my life. I wanted to be able to give my kids a life that I knew I never had. And so when I joined this business and I started seeing this income, my first paycheck was $17 and I was hype about it. Okay. So some of y'all saw your paycheck like 4 days ago. And if your check was $17 or more, congratulations, you can be an ambassador one day. Okay. Your first check is the best check in the world because you're like, wait, whoa, like I actually made an income from this thing. Like this is legit. So within 5 months, 3 days after I graduated high school, I just turned 18 when I joined this business. And then 3 days after I graduated, I promoted to diamond. So I was making a full-time income when I was going into college. So I paid all my tuition. I was able to finally have that financial independence for my family. I never had to go to them and be like, hey, can I have $20 and get that look from them where that you like knew they didn't have it, but you still needed to ask because you needed the things, but like they didn't have it. I now could depend on myself. And there is so much power in that. And I know that so many of you on here joined because you just wanted independence. I have people on my team that are like, I'm 30 and I'm still asking my parents for money. Like that is just the most incredible thing to be able to know that you can depend on yourself and yourself only. So went to college, went through all these things in my business. And I just basically decided it's now or never. And so we went double diamond. 3 months later, we went triple diamond. 3 months later, we went presidential diamond. And now 1.5 years later, we went ambassador. And because of it works, I've purchased my first home on my own. I've purchased and paid cash for my car. I've hit, financial goals I never thought I would ever even reach, even after I became a nurse and worked all my life away. And so I've just been able to do a lot of things, but it's just the person that I've become and the relationship with the Lord that I've grown is irreplaceable. All those things are great, but it's just all these things that you look back on and realize how much you've changed as a person and how much you've grown. You're going to look back even in 1 year from now at yourself and say, who are you? Like, who even is this person that I'm looking at? Because you're not even going to recognize her or him because there's just so much that you're going to grow. And there's so much, I saw that peace sign. But there's just so many things that are going to change in your life. And I'm just really excited to share a little bit of my journey with each of you and be transparent and help you and watch this team promote to ambassador this month.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So will you just tell us a little bit? So I know like you had a Zoom for your team last night, and I just kind of wanted you to go over the things that you went over last night for your team. So talking about not getting in your own way, getting out of your own head. I saw the topic of that. I was like, gonna need that Zoom. So, I mean, we all struggle with this, and it doesn't matter if you're trying to go get your shopping spree or promote to Ruby or go ambassador. You're gonna struggle with that and being in your own head and wondering like, wait, can I do this? And like you almost like self-sabotage and like you talk yourself out of doing the good things that are happening because you're afraid of the thing that's gonna happen that's bad that hasn't even happened yet. And you're like, something bad's about to happen. I can't do this. I'm just gonna stop right now before I get ahead of myself and allow that bad thing to happen just to like save myself. Yeah. Right? And like we do that all the time, and doing that over and over and over again has led you exactly here. So we're going to stop that cycle tonight, and we're going to learn how to do that. If you don't have pen and paper, strongly encourage you to do that. Why? Yes, Kylie, I see you, girlfriend. Why?
I was like, Kylie's got it. Kylie's got the pen.
Kylie is ready. So why do you need to write things down? Because successful people write things down because it makes you twice as likely to remember it. So even if you're like, well, I'm not a note taker. Well, I wasn't a morning person, but you can be whoever you choose to be. So you get to decide that. Go ahead and get a pen and paper out because you're going to want to go back and review these notes. I don't want you to have to rewatch an hour-long Zoom again. I want you to be able to look at notes, jot them down, take your, thoughts, and continue to move forward. Because speaking of thoughts, like something that Kelsey told me the other day, Kelsey Thornton, if y'all know who she is, all my team pretty much knows who she is if you've been around for a little bit. But yesterday or 2 days ago, I was talking to her and she was like, you have to stop self-sabotaging and stop stopping yourself. You're thinking all these negative thoughts that are holding you back and all these fears and doubts that you're allowing to infiltrate your mind. She was like, stop sabotaging yourself and take every thought captive. Take every thought. It's not that you're not going to think them, but when you do think them, you take them captive and you say, you don't belong here. And you say, I'm not going to think about that. I'm not going to listen to that voice. And I'm just going to continue to push forward. So, So anyway, Shey, will you just talk a little bit about just whatever, and you can just stop whenever if you want me to ask you more stuff, I can, but.
Yeah, so like I told y'all, I've done a ton of Zooms and I've been talking about pretty much the same thing. So y'all are getting the solidified, real good parts that I remember of everything that I've shared a billion times over. And it's going to be really good. Okay, I've mastered it at this point. So there are two things that we're going to talk about, and you need to take notes because there's going to be a lot of information that I'm going to be spitting at you. And the purpose of these Zooms is not just for you to fill up yourself and get super hype and get off this Zoom and be like, woohoo, I'm so excited. My energy level went from a 3 to a 10. I'm ready to go. It is for you to learn and to grow and to share this to your team. It means nothing if you take everything from this Zoom, go to sleep and wake up in the exact same position that you started this Zoom as. You have to take these things and put them into action, or they mean nothing. And putting them into action means not only for yourself, but turning this around and giving it to your team. So there are two things that I think that probably a lot of you are struggling with and you don't even realize it, okay? So the first thing is we're going to talk about getting in your own way, getting in your own head. A lot of times, guys, and this is something that you need to write down, number one, there are going to be a lot of obstacles that get in between you and your promotion, that get in the way. It's not a matter of if life is going to happen, it is a matter of when. There are going to be things like people quitting your team, people telling you no, people telling you that this business isn't legit, you having things that happen not only in your business, but in your life, having health issues or things happen with your family or with your kids or whatever the situation may be. They're going to happen. They're obstacles. It's just a life. And so I challenge you to know that there's going to be a lot of obstacles that come into your way. Don't allow yourself to be one of them. You're going to have all of these things that you're going to have to handle. And if you're the number one reason that's getting in front of you, it's like, imagine yourself driving in your car and you're driving to get to this destination, which is AKA your promotion, and you're standing in front of it. You can't go anywhere if you're standing in front of your own freaking vehicle trying to get to where you want to go. You are self-sabotaging yourself. You are literally telling yourself, I can't do this. It's too much volume. This promotion's too big. I'm not that person. I'm not the leader I need to be. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm a has-been. Whatever it is. I'm a mom. I'm a college student. Whatever your excuses are, get out of your own way. I want you to imagine, the Lord already gave you your first yes. He already gave you this business. I don't know whether you were looking for it or just like me, how It Works found me. It fell into my lap when I didn't even know what it was. It's like, hey, You're going to make $1 million at this business, but you don't know it yet. Here you go. I didn't know that that's what this business was going to do for me, but he already told you yes. So why are you looking for another yes? Go after it. Stop putting yourself in these situations where you can tell yourself that you don't, you can't do these things. It's too big. It's too much. So we tell ourselves things to avoid work. We tell ourselves these things to avoid getting ourselves in these situations that we're like, oh crap, this is kind of hard. This is a lot. Oh my gosh, this requires me to do a lot of things. I'm overwhelmed. How many of y'all know Morgan? She gets overwhelmed sometimes, and sometimes you got to text her and be like, hey girl, you got this. It's going to be okay. But I know that so many of you are like that. You get overwhelmed by all these things. And instead of, just pushing it aside and getting out of your own way, you let it stop you and halt you from these things that you know that God has already prepared you for. And so these things are things that you struggle with. And these things that you struggle with are universal things. They're things that everybody struggles with. It's not just you. It's not just you thinking, how many of you, especially women, okay, we look in front of a mirror. Okay, if you went in your bathroom right now, I know if I went in front of the bathroom right now, I would not have kind things to say about myself, okay? Quarantine has not done me well. My hair has been in this bun for quite a few days. I've been wearing this t-shirt for a couple of days because I left home for longer than I was supposed to. I could say a lot of things. And so when you sit there and think about your business and you pull out this chart for this promotion you're going for, the first thing you're going to say is, man, I need a lot of volume. This is a lot of boxes. I need 54 distributors to be charted. This person's not working. This leg isn't working. But instead we could sit there and say, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to get out of my own way and I'm going to do it. Because I have two options. Either move out of the way and let this train keep chug-a-lug-a-lugging down the road, or I can stand in front of it and allow it to stop and me stay exactly where I'm at. You are not planted. You are not planted where you are. You are choosing to. I had a girl message me today and she was like, I've been stuck at Ruby for 2 years. You're not stuck. You have chosen to stand in that spot and not move because you're self-sabotaging yourself and you're literally standing in front of your own car. Okay, so you're going to write these 5 things down. These are 5 things that you are going to do to get out of your own way. Some of these things are going to hurt. Some of these things you're going to be like, wow, Cheyenne, are you adding me? May as well have just unmuted myself. That is how you should feel, because in order to grow through things, you have to overcome them and you have to be able to identify them and say, okay, I'm doing that. Okay, yeah, that's me. Okay, yeah. Claire, I just did a Zoom with Claire Flores and she said something and I was like, okay, ouch, that hurt, but I needed to hear it. So number 1, remember why you are doing this. Remember why you're doing this. It's that simple. If things get hard, if your promotion's taking a little bit longer, if you're struggling, if your volume's not where you want it to be, in those moments that you feel like you're literally going to lose your marbles and need to be checked into the loony farm next week, why are you doing this? What do you want out of this? Drop it in the comments and let me know. What are you here fighting for? Is it your family? Is it your confidence? Is it your finances? Are you in debt? Is it your kids? I don't know what it is, but let me know. Why are you doing this? Because in the next time that you want to text Morgan and say, oh my God, Morgan, I don't know how this is going to happen. This is too much. I'm really overwhelmed. I want you to, before you text her, say, okay, Rebecca, why are you doing this? Okay, Sarah, what are you fighting for? Why are you here? So remember why you're doing it. Number 2, think about the outcome. Okay, when I was sitting there, woke up on the 25th of the month and needed 67,900 in volume to go Ambassador Diamond, I couldn't sit there and think about 67,900 in volume. I couldn't think about that. I couldn't think about how far I was or what I needed to do or, who wasn't working and who this. I had to think about what was the outcome. What am I doing? I'm going ambassador. So not only do I have to remind myself why I'm here, but I have to also remember what is my outcome. My outcome is promoting. My outcome is showing my team that it can be done. My outcome is fighting for something I've been fighting for 3.5 years. That's what my outcome is. Number 3, stop comparing yourself to other people. Sometimes there are people on my team that I wish I could just grab them by their face and just shake their head and be like, what are you doing? They'll text me and say, well, so-and-so promoted faster than me. And so-and-so went from Ruby to Emerald and I'm still distributor and they joined sooner than me. So-and-so this, so-and-so that. I'm going to tell you all something and I want you to write this down. I'm going to say it about 3 or 4 times. I used to compare myself to people that I am far beyond now. I used to compare myself to people that I am far beyond now. When I first joined the business, there are people that are still a diamond in this business that I used to compare myself to so much because I'm like, man, they're a diamond. They're a diamond and they're doing all this stuff and they're doing all these things. And the moment that I put my blinders on and I said, okay, this is where I'm going. This is my outcome. This is why I'm doing this, was the moment that I looked back and they were right where they were when I started. Your journey is your journey. Did you know that there is not a single person out there in this world that is just like you? Not one. Not one that has the qualities that you do. Not one that has the fingerprint that you do. Not one that has the same, personality, the same drive, the same anything. Nothing. You are you. And you are going to find those people that are just like you, that are looking for someone like you. There is somebody that could be following me and Morgan, and it's happened before. They're following both of us and they join one or the other because they need certain things from certain people. They see certain qualities that they want. Don't try to be like anybody else. Get out of your own head and realize that there are people that are looking for people just like you, that are going to connect to the fact that you're a dog mom, or that you talk about mental awareness, or that you talk about anxiety, or that you talk about your traveling, or that you talk about these things that you struggle with. Okay. That is why people are going to join you. And that is how you're going to get out of your own ways, because you don't need to compare yourself to anybody else, because you may be, I think about when I went diamond, I promoted fast. I went diamond in 5 months and was on top of the world, but then I also lost diamond right after that and maintained executive for 10 months. But do you think people knew that? No. Do you think people knew that I was making $100 a month as I was sitting there saying that I was a diamond? No. People probably compared themselves to me and they had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. Number 4, give up the idea of control. This is huge. Some of y'all are like, yikes. Give up the idea of control. The moment that you accept the fact that you cannot control things is the moment that you will soar. I promise you. Because I remember as a red personality, when I first got started, if people didn't work the business like me, canceled. If people didn't run the business like me and enroll all these customers right off the bat, they were off my chart. If people didn't have the same vision and want the business like I did, dead to me. I just was so closed-minded, tunnel vision. I wanted one thing and one thing only. And then I grew some yellow and I started to realize it's not how you work the business and it's not how it's going to happen. But I still wanted control of everything. I wanted everything to be done the way that I wanted it to be done because I knew it was going to be done right. And then I want you to think about it now. You're either a mom or you're a student or you work a lot of jobs or you're trying to work this business and you're trying to control it all. You're trying to control the volume and the distributors and the team that you have and the life and making sure your house stays clean and the dishes stay out of the sink and that your office stays organized and that you have your cute little calendar that's filled in with all these things that you need to do and that you keep the notifications off of your phone apps because they drive you nuts. And you try to do all these things. Why do you think that you feel like you're losing your mind? Why do you feel like you think that you can't do these promotions? Because you're putting too much on your plate that you cannot physically control. You are not expected to be Superwoman. You are not expected to have all of these things that you're supposed to perfectly perfect and control because you cannot physically do it. If you are pushing for a promotion, this promotion is a team effort. This is not just you. You cannot physically control how much volume you need to enroll, how many people that need to be enrolled on your team, how many customers have to be in each specific box, how many rubies are working with you. You cannot control it. It is out of your control. And that is because if you let go and give it to God, it will happen. But you cannot control things. Negativity is number 5. Negativity is out the window. Negativity is out the window. We have all done it. We have all texted our upline and said, I'm discouraged. I'm overwhelmed. I'm losing my mind. This is absurd. People don't want the products. I can't do this promotion, this, that, and the other. Becky is talking about me. This is happening. And literally we've already created this dumpster fire and we go to our upline and we're like, oh my God, all these things are happening. This is blah, 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 blah. And all you're talking about is all these bad things that are happening. Just like Morgan says, okay, what's the question? What's the question? Do not come to me. And I tell my team this all the time. I am not a trash can. Your upline is not a trash can. You are not a trash can. You have to be careful with the ways that you talk to yourself, to your team, to your upline, and to the people around you. Because the things that you're saying and speaking out, you wonder why these things are happening. Because what you say is what you manifest and what you are preaching into existence. If you are one of those people that just joined the business and you're like, oh my God, everything's falling apart. Nobody wants this business. I'm not promoting as fast as I want. And you're just saying all of these negative things. I have a girl on my team, okay? She joined 2 weeks ago and got 27 customers in 2.2 seconds. And every day was like, I'm not doing enough. I haven't enrolled more than 5 customers. I'm not doing good. And it was just constant negativity. And she quit. She had so many negative thoughts about herself and about the business and about how she wasn't good enough, and was saying all these things over and over, that all these people weren't being nice, and just that's all that she was ever texting me about. And she was like, I can't do this. It's just too much. It's just all this. Imagine how you would feel all the time if you said, this promotion's too big. I can't do this. You know, these customers, they're not coming to me. These distributors don't work. Every distributor I enroll quits on me. You expect those things to happen. If you're somebody who says, I cannot enroll distributors for the life of me, I cannot do it. Nobody wants to join this business with me. I don't know what's wrong with me, this, that, and the other. Why do you think they're not enrolling with you? Because the first time somebody messages you and says, I'm going to join the business, I'm so excited, like, what, give me some information, you're like, crap, they're probably going to say no. I'm going to tell them the price and they're going to tell me they can't afford it. How many of y'all have done that? Drop a 1. You self-sabotage the entire situation because of your negativity that you're already speaking out, when this person probably would have enrolled if you would have been a little bit more excited, okay? People can read you. They can read that your doors are already closed for business. So number 5, stop with the negativity. And I want you to think about it before you text your upline. Whoa, I almost fell off this chair. Before you text your team or you text your upline or whatever, I want you to sit there and say, how can I grow from this? Instead of me saying, I'm discouraged or this, that, and the other, by the way, remove the word discouraged from your vocabulary and never say it again. But if you're having issues getting distributors or whatever, go to your upline and say, hey, you know, I kind of feel down. Like, I really want to start enrolling more distributors. How can I enroll more? Versus, oh my gosh, Morgan, I haven't enrolled a distributor in 2 months and I just feel like nobody wants to join this business with me. And you just like type this whole novel about that. What are you getting from that? Be solution minded. Okay. That's where I was going with that. All right. Next thing, we're going to talk about trusting the process. This is a huge one. So when I was growing up, I kind of mentioned it in my story. I think I moved like 18 times. We lived in the worst of places. Sometimes it was a friend's couch, if that's what happened, if that's what needed to happen. You know, just rough, okay, in the slightest of terms. And, you know, I remember praying like late at night, I really hope that there's more to life. I don't know if any of y'all can relate to that, but I just prayed all the time. I hope there's more to life. I hope there's more to life. And everything that I tried to do, I was never good at it. Like, I was on C-team sports, every single sport, like every single thing I ever tried to do, I was terrible at it. It was like, I was good at school, but like good enough. I was, you know, I would do track, but I couldn't run fast. Like, I would do all these things and I couldn't do any of them. And I was just like, man, like, is there ever going to be something that I'm going to be good at? Like, is there ever going to be something that I'm going to be able to excel in? And I realized once I joined this business and I understood the power of hard work, that it was because I never gave it the chance for me to even be good at it. I think about when I started in middle school. Okay, you had the option to join any sport that you wanted to try. And all these people were just naturally good at these things. You know, they're people that could run a 100 in 0.4 seconds. And I'm over here like, give me like 10 minutes, I'll be there. Like, I tried to do all these things and I tried to be good at all these things, but I never gave myself the option to work hard and become better. It was like, oh, not good at golf, can't swing the thing, I keep hitting the ground. Oh, not good at track because I can't jump over a hurdle. Oh, not good at school or not good at this chess. Like, I didn't give myself the time. And so when I joined this business and realized that this was something that I could control, I could control the work that I was doing. I could control how consistent I was being. I could control, you know, all these things that I'm learning. I didn't join this business good at it. I didn't join the business just automatically knowing how to enroll all these people and do all these things. It was something that I learned. And so some of you are not giving yourself the opportunity to be good at this. You're not giving yourself the opportunity to mass enroll. You're not giving yourself the opportunity to even hit this promotion because you automatically think you're not good enough at it, or that you're not a unicorn like Morgan Martin, or that you're not somebody like Stephanie Dunn. Stephanie Dunn didn't join this business a black diamond. She trusted the process every day for almost 11 years to become a black diamond. Every day. Mark Pentecost, okay, he was in a network marketing company before this. He trusted the process every day. He opened this business in 2001. It's 2020, and we're just getting started. Don't you think he had to trust the process every single day to get to where our company is at now? To go beyond $1 billion? Going beyond $1 billion doesn't happen overnight. Every day it is a journey. Every day you're learning something new. Every day you're overcoming things within yourself and within life, and you're learning, what can I control because I can't control it all. You're learning, what are you here fighting for? You're learning to trust the process because it's not always going to be beautiful, and I'll tell you that. It's not always going to be easy. I've had some hard conversations. I've had to learn a lot of things within my team. I've lost people I never thought I would lose. I've lost rank a million times. I've seen paycheck drops that I don't even know how it happened. I've seen the things, but I've trusted the process every single day. Every day. Because I know that I'm not meant to be here to play small. I didn't join this business to make gas money like I thought. I didn't join this business to just enroll a couple of distributors and make some money. I learned through trusting the process that I was here to move mountains. I was here to show people that there's more to life. I was here to show that little girl that prayed every single night that I hope to God there's more than this, that I showed up for her every single day. And now I sit here on this Zoom as an ambassador, and some people would look at that and be like, oh, of course you're an ambassador. Like, you're this, that, and the other. You had this. I didn't join this way. And that's why when I told my story, my heart is like beating out of my chest right now. When I told my story at the beginning of this, I said, if I could give back every dime that I've made to keep the person that I've become, it's because I didn't join this business an ambassador diamond. I joined this business as a distributor with 0 customers under me. And with every customer I enrolled, and every conversation that I had, and every Zoom training I got on every single thing that I've done in this business, I've learned along the way to become an ambassador diamond. I did a training for this girl the other day, a coaching call, and she was like, I'm just really nervous. Like, how am I going to lead an ambassador team? She wasn't even Ruby yet. Okay. And I was like, Becky, girl, you just wait, okay? You have so much growth to be done, but if you don't allow yourself to grow in the first place and give yourself the space, you won't. But you're going to learn as you go Ruby, and as you enroll that next distributor, and as you go Emerald, and as you fight for Diamond. There's so many obstacles you're going to overcome, but you're going to learn how to trust the process. And so I see so many new distributors that join these businesses, and they join and they stop, and they join and they quit, and I'm so excited for them, and they quit, and then they quit again, and then I quit this person, and then a double diamond quits, and then a diamond quits. And it's just because they didn't trust. And so I want to tell y'all something that I actually learned today. How many of you have fear? Drop a 1. How many of you have fear? Do you know that you were born with 2 God-given fears? 2 God-given fears. Number 1, the fear of loud noises. And number 2, the fear of falling. Those are the only 2 fears that you were born with. Every other fear that you have self-inflicted. You've created these fears. Your fear of going diamond, your fear of mass enrolling, your fear of being able to lead. I asked in the comments earlier what your fear was, and like they were the same 5 fears. Fear of failing, fear of working so hard and missing it, fear of not being able to promote, fear of not having enough, and fear of not being able to lead enough, like lead well enough. I guarantee I just listed off a fear that you have, okay? Probably. They're all the same because we all fear the same things, but we created those fears within ourselves. God did not give that fear to you. God did not instill fear of you to go ambassador. God did not instill fear of you to be a presidential diamond. God did not instill fear in you that you weren't going to be a good enough leader. The enemy did. And now here you are spending so much time thinking about how afraid you are instead of thinking about how much faith you have. Instead of thinking about how good and awesome our God is, that he is going to provide everything that you need in order to be the person and the leader that you're becoming, but you're too busy thinking about how afraid you are of these promotions and these ranks and these things because you're just sitting there self-instilling all of this. So I'm going to read y'all this devotional really quick. It says, but God, he is the author of faith. He is the giver of faith, and he has already supplied us with this faith. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Hebrews 12:2. I simply need to look to him. Fear abounds when my eyes are on circumstances or what I am capable of. But when my eyes are on him and not the circumstances around me, I demonstrate faith. When I recognize that faith comes only from him, I am truly fearless. It isn't about me doing more in order to get more faith. It isn't about willing myself to have more faith. Faith is a gift from him, and he supplies it. He supplies us with it already. That your faith not might rest in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. In human terms, we think of faith as something we need more of, or something we need to try harder to increase our amount of faith. But when truly our fear is something that we've created within ourselves, and the faith is already within us. So all these things that you're afraid of, and all these promotions that you're afraid of, and the fact that you sit here and are thinking about 30 days of your promotion instead of the next 25 years of what your life is going to look like, you're thinking so small-mindedly that you have fear of the next 30 days instead of faith of the next 25. When I joined this business, I was like, man, if I can just make that like $200 every single month, we're going to be balling, okay? Living like P. Diddy. I'm going to have all the things that I need. I'm going to like have all the coolest things. I got $200. I'm going to be rich. And then I hit that. And I was making $200 and I was like, shoot, if I can make $200, then I could probably make $2,000 if I just worked a little bit harder. And then I worked a little bit harder. And I reached these goals that I never thought that I would reach. And then God humbled me real quick and said, oh, no, never mind. You don't need that yet. You're not ready for that. And I was making $100 again, back to what I originally was asking for. And for 10 months, that's all I made. 112, 130, enough to cover my auto shipment, basically. And it was February, the end of February of 2018 when I went to my first conference. Okay, how many of y'all have been to conference and changed your whole life? I went to conference. And, I'm sitting at the very top of conference, like almost touching the roof. And Mark gave his speech, okay? And he talked to us about having vision. You can look it up on YouTube. Talk to us about having vision and understanding that there's so much more than this plan that we think we have for ourselves. And that all we need to have is just vision. And I'm like, okay, Mark, there is so much more to that because this $100 paycheck that I just made, I have the vision. Okay, I want 10 grand a month. Show me how. Like, I've got the vision. What more do I need? And so I left that conference. I maintained diamond for the first time in 11 months. 30 days later, I went double diamond. 90 days later, I went triple diamond. 90 days later, I went presidential diamond. And I saw a paycheck that was more than my household income was in an entire year at 20 years old. And then for a year and a half, I tried to go ambassador. And every month I came up far short, like far, far, far short. In April of 2019, I shouted out that I was going ambassador for the first time. And I was like, okay, like we're going to do this. I'm going to pray for it every single day. I mean, we rallied the troops. We pulled out the trackers. Like we were doing all the things. And we came up far short, 60,000 short to be exact. Okay. And this is important. 60,000 short was how short we were to going ambassador. April 2020, exactly a year later, we pulled in 60,000 to go ambassador after the 25th. And it was almost like all those prayers that I had prayed and all that work I had done and all those moments that I felt inadequate and that I wasn't a good enough leader and that it wasn't my time and that maybe I wasn't going to go ambassador because I was too young and that it just wasn't the right thing. And who was I to think that I could go ambassador? A year later, we pulled in the exact volume that we came up short the year before. So guys, just trust the process. You have everything that you need. You're on a team that cares and loves about you more than anyone in the world. You have people that are in your corner every day fighting with you, but you have to make the decision to trust the process enough that it's not going to be on your own timing, but in the timing of God. He's got you, but you have to meet him halfway. He has to have something to match your efforts on. If you're going 50%, he's going to match you 50 and double it. I promise. Because when I woke up on the 25th of last month and we needed 67,934 BB to hit 250,000, I told my team, we have an awesome God. And if we go 110%, he's going to double that. And he did just that. We didn't just hit 250,000. We blew past that goal. And I don't even know how we even reached that goal to begin with. We hit 262,900 in volume. We were 12,000 over our goal. And I promoted at 5 p.m. when I don't even know how I promoted at all. Because the amount of volume that we needed the month before, I had 131,000 in volume. And if you know ambassador, it's 250,000. That's a whole lot of volume. We more than doubled our volume in 30 days. And so if you think that you're too far and you think this team is too far and you think for a split second that your volume is too much, then you don't understand the God that you're serving. You don't understand what the plan he has for you. You don't understand all the things that he has instilled in you already to promote to these ranks that you feel like are too big. Get out of your own way and trust the dang process. And the fears that you have instilled in yourself and that you've created for your own self to think of, you created those, nobody else. Those are things that you told yourself you're not good enough to do. And you told yourself that you don't have in you already, or you told yourself that you can't do it. And God's up there like, dude, what? I gave this business to you for you to do abundant things with it. Don't be closed-minded and stop it. You know, Morgan said this on his Zoom the other day. Be a river, not a reservoir. Don't sit there and take all this information and have this big old team that God blessed you with and not do anything with it. Let things flow through you. Flow to be this leader that you're meant to be and this team that you're meant to be, and go do all these great big things, because you're not here to be mediocre. If you have lost people on your team, if you have gotten to a point where you were on top of the world and now you feel like you're at rock bottom, or maybe you're having the most momentum in your business that you've ever had, no matter what position you're in right now, it's where you're meant to be to grow into the leader that you're meant to become. I firmly believe that. Because in the times that me and Morgan texted each other and we were like, dude, what's going on? Like, this is not where I thought I would be. And like, I thought my volume would be higher. I thought my check would be higher. Like, there's so many moments where we've talked to each other personally about moments that we thought we would be farther along. And then I look at, you know, moments in her business and moments in mine. Like last month, if you would have told me April 1st, when I posted on Instagram, you can go to my Instagram and look. April 1st, I posted, you know, just like we all do every single month. We're like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be a great month. Like my team crushed it in March. We're so excited. You know, we all post the exact same thing about how hyped we are for the beginning of the month, right? And so I go and I make this post and I'm so excited. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this month is going to be so amazing. Like there's going to be so many promotions. And I literally ended it and I said, God is going to move mountains on my team and you should stay around to watch. But I didn't think that I was going ambassador. I was excited for my team to promote because the you know, bonuses had been extended, but there was no way I was going ambassador because it was way too far. And so I posted this and, you know, we kept, you know, looking at stuff and people were promoting and we had a ton of customer enrollments because it was 2 for $49 at the time. And I woke up on the 17th of the month and I maintained Presidential Diamond. And that's the earliest I'd ever maintained. The month before, I barely maintained it, okay? So I go and I text Kelsey Thornton and I said, I think I'm going ambassador this month. And I think I texted Morgan that day too. I was like, I think I'm going to go ambassador. And all Kelsey said was, bro, what? If you know her, bro is the only word that she knows. It's just, bro, what? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do it. And so I went live in my team page and I was like, okay, guys, like this is our volume. This is what we need. And I think we're going to go ambassador diamond. And I'm sure some of them were like, okay, we've heard this before. Like she said that before. And inside, I didn't know. I didn't know how we were going to do that, but I still did it. And I declared it and I did all the things and I started doing the trackers and I started doing the giveaways and I started enrolling the people. And I, you know, I had only enrolled 4 customers up to that point, 4. Okay. And I hit the month at 60. So when you make a decision, it will completely flip in your mind and you will do anything you set your mind to do. And I went live every day. And I was wildly transparent with my team and was like, look, we need 14,000 in volume every single day if this is going to happen. And I don't think we've ever enrolled more than like 7. So we got to double it. We got to do some crazy big things. And they did it. And they pulled it through. And on the 25th, when we woke up, we were at 184,000. That's not a lot when you're trying to go ambassador. I need 67,000 in volume in 6 days. I divided it. I went live every day. I got loud about the numbers. I told my team over and over and over, we're going to do it. And we promoted and we did it. So I want you to figure out how close you are to your promotion, not how far, how close you are to hitting that promotion. And I want you to take those 5 things that I told you to do. Number 1, why are you doing it? Number 2, what's the outcome? Number 3, don't compare yourself. Number 4, give up the idea of control. And number 5, negativity is out the window. And focus on the things that you can control every single day and get it done. Because you have everything that you need. You have now officially decided you're going to get out of your own way. And you're going to do it. And this team is going to go ambassador. Because when you have faith bigger than your fear, and you put aside everything that you've told yourself over the last couple of days, however many days, 11 days of this month, and maybe you've doubted yourself just a couple of times, don't do it anymore. You don't have time for it. You're not tired. You're not uninspired. You're not discouraged. You're not unmotivated. You're lacking a decision. Because when I made that decision to go ambassador, I'd have cut off my right arm and gave away my house if I needed to go ambassador. So I freaking did it because we made a decision. And so I'm really excited. I don't think I stopped for a second to breathe or even ask a question if I was supposed to ask anything. So Morgan, do you have anything else for me to ask or answer?
I'm just sitting over here processing everything. I don't really have to say anything. I'm just like, y'all, that was so good. Bro, what? That was amazing. Literally, drop 3 in the chat if you're like, bro, what? Like, I knew all of that stuff, kind of, but, like, also I didn't, and I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time. But it's crazy because you'll hear stuff, but it won't apply to your life then. So you're like, yeah, I've heard that before, but you didn't really need it, so it never really resonated with you. And now you're like, I forgot that, or, like, I needed a refresher. Like, you know, like this new revelation that's totally been said before. That was so good. You just made me feel like I'm about to go, like, double ambassador this month. Forget ambassador. We'll just go ahead.
Twice.
Yeah. No, I'm so excited. And I think that every single one of us needed that, you know, and whether your volume is 2,000 and, like, you know, we're sitting here talking about 250,000 in volume and, like, needing 60,000 volume at the end of the month. But for those of you trying to go Ruby, 2,000 volume is just as big of a mountain to you right now. And we get that. And so I don't want you to be like, oh, well, mine's only 2,000. Like, I have no room to, like, you know, feel any type of way. Yeah, you can. You can feel like it's a big deal. You can feel like it's a mountain. That's okay, because we did too. And I love what Shey said earlier about, like, you're wondering how you're going to lead a diamond team and you just joined yesterday and you're working on your shopping spree, right? Like, the you that you are right now can't lead a diamond team. If you could, then you'd be there. The person who I am right now is getting ready to lead an ambassador team because that's where we've grown to get. But, like, you're going to become who you are in the process of hitting the goal. Like, who you become in your head is going to show up on eSuite afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, you have to grow yourself because your paycheck will never exceed your self-development. That's why we get on these Zooms. That's why we grow ourselves. So it's not like you're going to be an ambassador and still be the kind of mindset person that you were at Diamond. LOL. I just thought about myself at Diamond. Would not be a good ambassador Diamond at all. Oh my word. Even last year, I'm like, probably not. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to be good now, but you know what I mean? Like, we've grown so much, and, like, who you become in the process is so worth it. And, like, don't worry about 82 steps ahead. You know, Cheyenne was talking about, like, you're worried about the 30 days of your promotion. I've been joking all month. I'm like, is it May 35th or what? Like, longest month of my freaking life. Which is good because I'm like, okay, it's only the 11th. We have so much time, even though it feels like I've been awake for all 11 days.
Yes, and that's what I mentioned too. Like, I didn't make a decision until the 17th that I was promoting. Y'all are a little bit ahead of me. Y'all been deciding that you were going to promote this whole month, and maybe you didn't decide until you just got on the Zoom and you're like, okay, Cheyenne's told me to decide like 12 times, so I probably should make a decision. Make the dang decision now. Like, don't go to bed tonight without getting up your 10 freaking hosts to post. Like, guys, what we do is not hard. What we do is not hard. It is so simple. And I know, like, let me tell you, there are teams out there that don't do team Zooms. They don't even have a team page. They don't do leader Zooms. They don't have the scripts. There are teams out there that do not have that. You are blessed. You are blessed with incredible leadership. You are blessed with all of the tools. And I know that Morgan gives you all the tools because I'm in your team page. I see it. You have all the tools that you need to promote to this promotion that you're promoting to, but you have to be the one to take the tools out of your toolbox and use them. I know you got a hammer, use it. But we can't make you use the tools. We can only give them to you. And so it is May 11th. You have so much time to promote. Figure out your number, divide it by how many days you got, and go to your team and say, are we doing this or what? Who's doing it with me? If they don't show up, you're doing it by yourself. But I can tell you that I promoted basically all the way to triple diamond. I enrolled every single leader that was on my ambassador chart as a double diamond July 2018 when I went triple diamond. It took me that long to find people that worked with me, and you can either let that discourage you or hype you up because I did it by myself. You don't need anybody else to believe in you because when you believe in yourself, it's enough. It is May 11th. Decide what you're going for and get it done.
Yes, I love that. So one thing that really hit me today, and I'll just share this because it's on my heart. So this helped me a lot. You were talking about control, and I was like, all right, number one, remember why I'm doing this. Check. Number two, think about the outcome. Yup, I see it. Visioning it, like, vision casting. Stop comparing yourself. I know I'm working on that every day. And then you said give up the need for control, and I was like, scared. Not so good at that one. Like, probably not. So I am awful. Like, I always need to control everything. Like, I just like to feel like I have control. And so, scared. So I was listening to a Stephen Furtick like sermon from Elevation Church today, but it was done 2 weeks ago. And it was like something about like the art of letting go or something about letting go, whatever it was. But y'all know, some of you may know, but like my word for the year is release. And so I was like, ooh, letting go, same thing, gonna watch that. So I was like, this would be a really good thing. So I watched it this morning, y'all. By the way, side note, I've literally been praying because like last month I could like hardly get out of bed. I felt like I was so exhausted every single day. I was like, God, just give me like a newfound energy to do this month because I need extra time. He has woken me up at 6:15 every day without an alarm clock. I'm not joking. And I was like, okay, not exactly what I meant, but we'll take it. So, anyways, that was a side note. But I woke up early this morning, so I like got to listen to a whole sermon before the power hour. And he was talking in there, and let me grab my notes really quick. He said, he was talking about whenever he was like lifting weights and stuff, and he went to this guy. Oh, it was a lesson in letting go is what it's called. But he went to this guy that worked at the church, like one of his friends or whatever, and he was like, my elbow hurts. And he was like, oh, it's golf, because he used to be a physical therapist. He's like, it's a golfer's elbow. And he was like, I've never played golf. How do I have a golfer's elbow? He was like, all I was doing was lifting really heavy weights, and I got like my elbow started to hurt because I was lifting heavy weights. And the physical therapist said, he was like, the weight that you lifted wasn't too heavy. You just clenched onto it way too tight. He said you could have lifted even heavier weight and you would have been fine if you had loosened your grip. I was like, so good. I'm going to read the notes that I wrote, like word for word what he said. He said, it's not about how much weight you were lifting. It's about how tight you were holding it. You could lift a lot more if you would loosen your grip. You would hold it if you would hold it differently, then you could handle it. I was like, dang, that's so crazy, because I feel like sometimes, like, I felt like this morning God was like, release. And that doesn't mean like release wanting to go ambassador, like don't worry about it, or hey, release and just like don't even work, just let it happen. Like, no, that's not what he's saying. But I think sometimes we can bear hug our goals so much that we begin to suffocate the very thing that we're trying to get to grow, right? And something can't grow if it's being suffocated. And so we're bear hugging it with good intentions, but it's really not bringing out the results that we wanted. And a seed that's held like this can never grow. It can't be thrown into the ground. It can't sprout and it can't multiply. But when you let that seed go and you release it, then it begins to grow and it begins to multiply and it begins to do what it was intended to do, which is to grow in the ground where it's been planted. But you have to release in order to let those things grow. And so whatever that looks like for you this month, whether it's your shopping spree and going Ruby and getting your first distributors and, getting your business started, whether it's going diamond or double or triple or presidential, like whatever your goal is this month, know that you can do it, but you're going to have to let it go a little and stop hugging it so tight. Work just as hard. It's not saying work less. It's saying work the same, but work in a different spirit. Work with a different heart, knowing that the Lord is going to supply the abundance and fill in the gap between what you can do and where you need to go, because you can't do it all on your own. You have to fill in that gap. And so he's going to be the one to do that. So did you have anything else to add, Shey?
Get it done, y'all. That's all I got. Get after it.
Okay. I want to do a Zoom. Thanks for hopping on. I want to do a boomerang for Instagram. So you don't know if you're on my screen or not. Some of you are and some of you are not. But either way, I want you to like, just, I don't know, get excited. Like do something like this or like whatever. Yeah, what Shey's doing, like whatever, just get hype. And I don't care if it's out of your comfort zone, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Just do it. It's literally 0.2 seconds or however long a boomerang is. So you can do it. Okay.
Make sure I'm in it. Thank you.
Huh?
I said, make sure I'm in it. Thanks.
Yeah, you are. We'll tag you. I'll tag you. Okay, ready? Go. Just start doing it and then I'll go. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go to the second page and we're going to pick who's ever the best. So,
okay, got my workout in for the night.
Huh?
I said, got my workout in for the night.
Promotion props is the only workout we're getting. All right, ready? One more time. Ready? Go. Okay.
This is everyone's signature move.
I know. I was like, wait, what do I do?
Raising the roof.
Oh my word. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for hopping. Oh, we got that on the recording. You love